What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is January 18th of 2021. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And in today's video, we've got a lot of things to catch up on in regards to today's update. We're going to be diving into cryptocurrency markets where altcoins are surging in double-digit territory on a normal basis. We've got a ton of cryptocurrencies that I've recently bought into that I want to share with you guys today, as well as talking about some cryptos that I'm watching at the moment. And not only will I be sharing with you all some tools and tips you can use to guarantee you're owning the market leaders that are outpacing the broader market, but I want to candidly share with you guys about my journey into re-entering the market after taking profits back a couple of days ago. Why I feel a bit of regret on it, not only in the sense of missing out on some potential gains, but outside of that as well, just taking some learning lessons from it overall that hopefully can help you guys in your trading and investing journey. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive straight into it, guys. The market across the board here is green. Not only Bitcoin up nearly around 4%, but over the last 24 hours, we have a ton of cryptocurrencies in double-digit territory to the upside. We are no longer in a no-trend scenario here for the broader market. The broader altcoin space is starting to not only showcase a ton of green, it is heavily outpacing Bitcoin here over the last few weeks, starting to recoup some of that lost dominance, especially with some of the new players on the horizon like the Graph, Horizon, and Kusama. The Graph was actually a play we just sent out in the Dash report the other day, so we've gotten to ride a good amount of this, and I think we're going to continue to see more upside here for the Graph and a few other crypto plays. But some of these are familiar to you guys. DeFi plays like Curve, DAO token, Misa Go, etc. So we've got a lot of different plays here, seeing a lot of benefit to this new upswing in altcoin dominance. Now, what I want to spend some time to talk about and mainly focus on here is why I'm confident here that we're in the early stages of the altcoin cycle, and along with that as well, why on a personal candid note that I've re-entered into the market here, guys. You know, the other day I was a little bit worried when we started to see Bitcoin around $40,000 topping out a bit, and then we started to see almost kind of an exponential decrease here in this case in price as the sell-off was getting worse and worse. It seemed like the momentum was compounding. However, we've been able to start setting in higher lows here for Bitcoin and really build into a classic wedge, which we'll dive into later on within the video. But I just want to go ahead and hit on a key point here. We saw Bitcoin go over twice its all-time highs in total valuation, adding hundreds of billions of dollars of valuation in the process. And with dominance relatively low in altcoins, as we'll take a look at in a moment, and the all-time peak here being around $550 billion, whereas we're right now sitting at a valuation range of around 350 or a little bit below 350. In this case, I think we've got a good chance to not only revisit those all-time highs, but to break through and see some really exponential gains here for altcoin market caps. Again, I know a lot of it's speculation, a lot of it's hype and excitement for some of the new technologies being developed, but all in all, guys, that's the general market here. It is very speculatory, just like any other market out there. And we can see here, again, as I emphasized, the kind of vertical rise in Bitcoin, how quick it happened. We know altcoin cycles happen quite quickly, so I have no doubt we could see something similar here for altcoins going into the rest of January and into February, maybe early March. And again, taking a look at dominance here, I think we've got a pretty clear roadmap of what to expect here. We had the bottom here that we were talking about focusing on from back here in September 2019, as well as the base here in May 2017, the midway point for the overall altcoin cycle that had happened from bottom to top in the previous cryptocurrency cycle. And now here what we've got is this basically expanding channel here where we've got this support line that has remained consistent, and along with this as well, an expanding line of resistance here, allowing altcoin dominance to go higher. Now again, this is basically a percentage. For those who may not know, it's a percentage measuring the amount of the market that altcoins make up. So right now, altcoins make roughly close to around 33% of all market capitalization. Bitcoin is still the behemoth here, consuming about 2/3 of the market. Now we've got an opportunity, if we keep in line with history here, to go all the way up close towards around 49%, which is historic resistance for altcoin dominance. And that's a massive move. That means that a lot of small and mid caps are going to have that opportunity to do 5 or 10x's or 20x's. I know it sounds crazy, but it can happen, guys. Now, it's not going to be as frequent or as high of multiples like we saw last time around where there was 30, 40, 50x's on a common daily, not daily basis, but on a monthly or 2-month basis. In this case, we're going to have a much more still kind of rational and fundamental cycle here where at the end of the day, the key players that are going to be winning are ones that people want to hold and, throughout the next expanding cycle here into 2022. So again, I think what we've got here is a rally up here towards 49%. We're going to come down here towards a higher low, similar to what we did back over here, and then have the vertical absolutely euphoric and parabolic rally towards the end of the cycle when we have maximum liquidity in Bitcoin. When Bitcoin reaches that peak level of, whatever it may be, right? It might be 100K, 200K. And again, don't take the line, as purely, an absolute guarantee. As you all know, I keep in line with the idea of expanding cycles. So it might be that this happens much later on or takes a little bit longer than the previous cycle. I wouldn't doubt it, right? But again, just keeping this in mind here, I think that we're going to basically have a surge here over the next coming months. We're going to have a pullback, a decent correction here on some of those overinflated gains as Bitcoin catches up. And then we're going to have that sudden surge whenever it may be. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of these individual cryptocurrencies that we're watching at the moment. One of them is Uni. Now we've been talking a lot about Uni on the channel. Overall, we can see here that Uni had a nice solid double bottom. I remember we talked about this on the channel. We averaged in most of it during this kind of decline here and also over here as well. And now we've been able to ride the wave here as Uni has started to pick up some serious gains against Bitcoin here. Now, for those who don't know, Uniswap is a famous DeFi protocol. It is the largest decentralized exchange or automated market maker. Basically allows you directly from your cryptocurrency wallet to trade from one token to another in a simple fashion, paying only a core network fee of both the network fee in this case in order to process it on Ethereum on the blockchain, but also 0.3% to cover for liquidity providers. But we can see here we're building up a very nice technical pattern here. We had this point of resistance that was previous support back here in October, and now we're looking like we might have a breakthrough on there and then continue a parabolic surge to have basically in this case, a complete reversal. Now, in traditional markets, what you would usually call this is an IPO reversal or initial public offering reversal, but Uni in this case is not an IPO, it's a token. So I always call it kind of initial token, an ITO reversal or initial ICO reversal in this case, but they didn't do an ICO. It used to be a little bit more simple with the terminology. Overall here, the general gist is that you have a complete U-shaped recovery from the relative highs at the launch, and then we have room to possibly break out even higher in valuation. We'll have to see how crazy this market gets, and we have to understand as well that the valuation range here is definitely going to be quite high on a per fundamental basis. But if Uniswap continues to get higher volumes, this might be a bit more rational than it looks right now. So anyways, again, very important stuff here to watch, guys. Now, the second thing as well that I wanted to talk about is one of the small caps that we talked about on our top 10 altcoin video, which is DHedge DAO or DHT token. Now, DHedge in this case is built off of the Synthetics network. It's another DeFi play, one of the few small caps that I actually genuinely wanted to build a position in and actually like for the next coming months to the next year or so into the next cycle. And it basically allows people to have a decentralized hedge fund in this case, to become your own hedge fund. So you can position synthetic portfolios in different types of markets and different types of assets, and people can follow you. They can basically copy trade or copy invest alongside your hedge fund. And you, as a hedge fund manager, get to collect a certain allocation of fees off of the people who are allocating, basically in your portfolio. So if you make 100% return, 20% of those profits are going to go towards the hedge fund manager. I've thought about doing one myself. If you guys are interested in me doing this, I'd definitely be willing to give it a try. It's going to take me some time probably to get it set up. But if you guys are interested in that, let me know. All in all, though, again, another U-shaped recovery here. I love the fact that we've got, in this case, not only a bottom here in the market over here, but we've got a higher low here that we set a month later from early November to late December, so over a month here. And now we're starting to get some vertical movement, some of the highest volume we've seen here in regards to DHedge. So I really love the kind of sudden surge of liquidity here. This is going to slip price higher here and get us in a position where we could really see that U-shaped recovery. Now I built most of my position for DHedge up here. So again, technically against Bitcoin, still at a bit of a loss here. But for me, this was one of those long-term holdings. And overall, on a dollar basis, I'm way up so far in the position, which I'm really excited about. Next up here is Chainlink. Chainlink having a nice base here, a very healthy bottom here over the course of multiple weeks going into early January, and now starting to kick up here, down a little bit down for the day here, but at the same time, if we just take a look at the weekly here, this is the first major green candle we've seen since all the way back here in July and August during the summer rally, showcasing that we're probably kicking up for that next cycle of momentum in altcoins. And taking a look at the dollar chart, we're breaking through all-time highs here this past week as we broke through the $20 even point where Chainlink had topped out. This again being the largest Oracle play in the market. I do own some Chainlink here, guys, but I would say that I'm not looking to average any more into Chainlink until we come down and build a nice base of support here. I would love to see it come down to $20. Again, it might start to kind of cuss back up in this case. So in that case, I wouldn't miss out on it if I really wanted to add in. But I've got my position in it. I'm not rushing to adding more. Now, some plays that a lot of you have asked me about are the competing blockchain protocols or interoperable blockchain protocols like Polkadot or Cardano. And I want to spend some time to talk about those different plays because though I don't own any positions in Cardano or in Polkadot, I do want to say that I think that they're going to continue to climb, and I'll explain, kind of what pattern I think they're going to play out on, and what you want to watch for in order for to remain confident here that DOT in this case as well as ADA or Cardano are going to continue climbing. So in this case, I was watching for a long period of time on the logarithmic chart the kind of decline here that we saw here for Polkadot. We had this line of resistance that we inevitably had a breakout against. We made it support. It's a very common technical pattern to get bullish on. And then we started to see the sun surge. We saw the increase in volume for Polkadot. Now, the overall thing that I like to see here is it looks like we are getting a bit top heavy at a previous point of resistance and support in the past. So I do think we're going to see a nice dip here, possibly to maybe 40,000 Satoshis, some kind of big even level. And then after that, we're going to be able to see a breakout attempt here above its previous point of resistance against Bitcoin and really start to climb higher. And again, in that case, I would definitely like to see if we get above pretty much the previous point here, I'd definitely consider adding in a new position for Polkadot here. But again, overall, I think that it's, again, one of the larger caps here. It's definitely not going to be the top performer in the market, but it should do quite well. And again, another thing as well is that Cardano has been doing quite well. As much as I've been, I'm not so much a critic, but someone who's basically said that, look, in the sense of building a substantial long-term position, I'd want to see Cardano launch some of its new network upgrades and start to see some smart contracts and projects moving over to Cardano. I have no doubt that that's probably going to happen here in the next few months. All in all, the technical price action here and the volume is looking quite healthy here. And now that we've gotten against this point of resistance that had been held down since back in September, it's a matter of making it support over the next few days and possibly kicking up for even higher levels against Bitcoin. But one thing that I want to emphasize about all these competitors against Ethereum is that above all, you want to see that they're outperforming Ethereum. You don't always want to just compare them to Bitcoin. And what I love to do is I use charts.cointrader.pro in order to actually get some really exciting data metrics and ratios. You can do a lot of this on TradingView as well. But overall, what we can see here is that in this chart here, we're comparing the market cap of Cardano as a cryptocurrency, the total value of Cardano divided by the total market capitalization or total value of Ethereum. So basically, we're doing a ratio of Cardano to Ethereum versus Cardano to Bitcoin. And I think this is really what's most critical here, to see whether or not your investment is outpacing the blockchain that you're competing with here in this case, or believe in this case is going to start stealing market share, right? Again, I think there's a lot of people out there who hold a generally positive tone on both blockchains. I'm one of those people. I get the vision of Cardano, the vision of Polkadot. And all in all, though, I think the major thing to focus on here is whether or not we break through this line of resistance here, basically this wedge we've been building up through all the way back here since November 2017 against Ethereum. We can see here that Cardano has generally been setting in the long term these higher lows and these lower highs, and now it's a matter of whether or not we can continue the surge here upward. Right? Which I think we're going to continue to do here over the next few days with the momentum in the market following the summer rally and previous ones in the past. But a question of whether or not we can break above, make support on this line of resistance or previous resistance, and break up even higher to some of those highs we saw back during the peak of the December rally in 2017. That's what I'd be looking for here. Now, again, guys, this is just overall a general summary of some of the cryptocurrencies I'm watching in the market. Again, ADA, DOT, some of those kind of enterprise plays, those interoperable plays like Polkadot. But I want to go ahead and dive in towards another portion that I think is important to talk about, and that's Bitcoin, because I know a lot of people are curious about the current state of Bitcoin, as I did not only in my recent Tether video where I talked about the potential implosion people have been talking about that might be caused from a removal of Tether. And outside of that as well, a lot of people have been curious, as I got a bit curious and concerned about the price performance of Bitcoin. Well, I think we just got our headline news piece that we really needed to bolster some confidence that the demand for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, even at these heights, are not going to stop. Grayscale just the other day announced a raise of over $700+ million and new capital from investors in order to bolster new shares in its financial products to basically purchase more Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies alike in its biggest daily asset raise ever in history. Now, as you all know, again, this is the kind of stuff here that leads to catalysts in the market that really leads to us seeing price gains and moves that we have yet to see throughout history. And this is, again, the kind of size of buy orders we're going to see as the market gets from being a 10 to a few $100 billion market to a multi-trillion-dollar market. We can see here that we talked, if you guys saw my video back from a couple of days ago, why I was fearful of the market was the fact that Grayscale had really plateaued in its new additions as we saw the price ramping up here. And we can see here that that did have an effect on price. When you start to remove those buy orders here, right, you can start to see that price doesn't have that same kind of help there during those dips or those corrections in the market, and it's why we saw a pretty stagnant decline here. However, Bitcoin is still holding quite well, and now as we start to get this additional buy side pressure, we haven't even factored in this new raise from Grayscale here into the chart. This is going to continue to bolster Bitcoin's price here. And I think that as we build into this kind of wedge here that I think a lot of people are panicking over, some people feel is going to be, maybe a corrective wedge in this case. What we're seeing here is really the market waiting for, again, I think kind of these catalyst stories. And it started to drive up Bitcoin's price here in the short term. And the more and more we get of these, I think it's more likely that we're going to see a continuation here. As crazy as it seems, guys, just taking a look here on the monthly chart, things have been absolutely crazy overall. I mean, this has been an absolutely phenomenal rally. But as much as I think it would be healthy to see that kind of correction, I think if anything, Bitcoin will push sideways here for the short term and maybe might even continue to kick up higher. We've seen, historically speaking, on the logarithmic chart here, that Bitcoin can continue to climb vertical once it breaks its all-time highs. It's very unlikely to slow down. But again, in the sense of the expanding cycle theory, if that is going to play out, overall, we'd have to see that this would cool down to some degree, right? Even if with our targets of 100K or 200K, right? But above all, again, who knows, maybe the expanding cycle theory isn't going to be true this time around. Perhaps institutions are bringing in an exciting new wave of demand here to the crypto space that we have yet to see before in history. Now, speaking about some big institutional moves here, guys, I do want to share a really important piece of news for one of our sponsor partners here on the channel, Taxbit. You guys know Taxbit as one of the major applications in the market, one of our long-term partners all the way back since 2018 that helps people with actually being able to combine all of the activities from their exchange platforms and lending platforms, being able to take all those taxable events and get simplified generated tax forms. Well, Taxbit and Austin and the team have done something phenomenal. They've continued to not only expand the product and make it great for users, but also outside of that as well, Taxbit has a major announcement. They've secured investment from both PayPal Ventures and Coinbase Ventures, as well as the Winklevoss twins doubling down on their previous investment from their Series A raise. This is absolutely phenomenal stuff. And I just want to say to Austin and the team, I think this not only showcases here that a lot of the broader cryptocurrency space trusts Taxbit and is actually hopefully looking to possibly integrate this technology to some degree. We'll have to see, time will tell. But overall, I think above all here, this is really exciting news for the Taxbit team. And I want to say, if you guys are interested in checking out Taxbit to simplify your crypto taxes, we got it coming up here in the next coming months here for the US, and I know it varies for different regions across the world in different periods of the year. You can check out the link down below in the description if you want to support the channel, but also check out Taxbit as well as a way to simplify your taxes. It's a great platform overall, guys, and I really am proud to see how far Austin and the team have come in building out this product. All right, guys, I've rambled on enough today, guys. I hope you all have appreciated this video, and I hope you guys like the new camera setup. Let me know what you like, any ways that I can improve it, maybe through the lighting. I know that I'm going to be working on improving the microphone, trying to do some things to reduce maybe a little bit of the echo in the room here at my new place that I moved into. But I'm just super excited to be here, guys. And if you like this video, please, as always, consider dropping a like, consider subscribing. It's one of the best things you can do for me, guys. And if you want to get more kind of in-depth research in the market, you can always check out my newsletter that I write called the Dash Report. Link down below in the description if you're interested in signing up. We've got hundreds of people from the Data Dash community who have recently registered over the past few months, and it's become a really great community of fostering conversation and development. So I hope you guys will join us there in that sense. But that being said, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.